The air crackled with a tension that only two titans bound by a lifetime of bitter rivalry could generate. Metropolis had just begun to breathe again after the cosmic chaos of Dark Crisis, but for Superman, the real storm was just beginning, right here, right now, in the imposing presence of Lex Luthor. This wasn't merely another skirmish. This was a deeply personal confrontation, fueled by deceit, betrayal, and a revelation that would push the Man of Steel to a righteous precipice. Luthor's face, usually a mask of calculating superiority, was contorted with a fury that mirrored, perhaps even surpassed, Superman's own. The self-proclaimed genius, always obsessed with being the one to expose and dismantle his greatest foe, had been spectacularly upstaged. Superman, in a strategic move that had stunned the world, had revealed his own identity. And Lex Luthor, who had dedicated his life to that very goal, had been denied his moment of triumph. "You," Luthor spat, his voice a venomous hiss. "You dared to reveal your own identity. My grand design, my carefully orchestrated expose. You stole it!" With a roar of pure, unadulterated rage, Luthor unleashed an attack of unprecedented power. It wasn't a calculated maneuver. It was an uncontrolled burst of a wounded ego, a desperate lashing out from a man whose ultimate ambition had been snatched away. Superman, usually so precise and controlled, met the assault head-on. The two titans clashed, a whirlwind of power and raw emotion tearing through the very fabric of the city around them. It was a battle less about strategy and more about the raw, unfiltered animosity that had simmered between them for decades. As the fight escalated, Luthor, ever the provocateur, began to taunt. His words were designed to pierce, to demoralize, to strip away Superman's composure. And then, amidst the chaos of their struggle, Luthor's voice, laced with a casual cruelty that made the blood run cold, dropped a bombshell. He began to speak of Project Blackout, a shadowy initiative, a personal crusade to erase those he deemed nuisances. And within that cynical confession, the name of Manchester Black emerged. "Project Blackout," Luthor sneered, a flicker of perverse pride in his eyes. "A delightful little endeavor to extinguish certain irritants. An unintended consequence, of course, but entirely necessary. Manchester Black, for instance, a nuisance, trying to play hero. Blackout caught him quite by surprise." The words hung in the air, a poisoned dart finding its mark. For a fleeting moment, the Man of Steel seemed to freeze, not in fear, but in a terrible, dawning realization. Manchester Black. The name itself carried a complicated legacy. A powerful psychic, a former leader of the elite who had often crossed swords with Superman. Black was a man of cynical ideals, a ruthless vigilante who believed in harsh justice. Yet, in the tangled tapestry of his life, there had been threads of something more, moments where he had attempted to step away from the brink, to find a path toward redemption. In his final moments, he had indeed been striving for something better, attempting to bridge a chasm within himself, to perhaps even find a measure of peace. And Lex Luthor had casually dismissed his death, a life extinguished, as merely an unintended consequence of his latest self-serving scheme. It wasn't just another villainous confession. This was different. This wasn't about a stolen jewel, or a ruined building, or even a failed world domination plot. This was about a life, however flawed, striving for something more, being snuffed out with a dismissive wave of a hand.
A low growl rumbled in Superman's chest, a sound rarely heard, pregnant with a depth of anger that went beyond mere frustration or even righteous indignation. This was the fury of a protector, seeing a fragile spark of redemption violently extinguished by casual malice. In that instant, something fundamental shifted within Superman. The gentle, compassionate guardian of Earth was replaced by an embodiment of pure, unadulterated fury. It was a righteous anger, born not of personal slight, but of profound injustice. The battle changed in that moment. What had been a reactive defense became a proactive, overwhelming force. Superman moved with a speed and intensity that Luthor had rarely witnessed, even from him. Every strike carried the weight of Manchester Black's stolen redemption, every blow a demand for accountability. Luthor, for all his power and intellect, was utterly unprepared for the sheer unbridled rage of the Man of Steel. Superman wasn't just fighting to win, he was fighting to hold Luthor accountable. He was fighting for the memory of a man who deserved better than to be a forgotten casualty of Luthor's callous ambition. With a final, decisive surge of power, fueled by that burning, righteous anger, Superman utterly defeated Luthor. He didn't simply knock him out, he held him, his grip firm, his eyes blazing, communicating a message that transcended words. You are accountable for this. The battle ended not with a triumphant roar, but with a quiet, furious resolution. In the aftermath, as Luthor lay defeated, the air still hummed with the echoes of Superman's fury. It was a powerful reminder that even the Man of Steel, the embodiment of hope and restraint, possesses a breaking point. And it is not reached by personal attack, but by the casual dismissal of life, by the extinguishing of a chance at redemption. The true strength displayed wasn't just in the force of his blows, but in the unwavering moral clarity behind them. It was a moment of profound accountability, a stark reminder that even Superman, the beacon of hope, can be pushed to a righteous breaking point when a life, however complex, is dismissed with such cold disdain. It speaks volumes about the depth of Superman's compassion that the death of a complex figure like Manchester Black, a former antagonist, could ignite such a rarely seen fury. It underscores that for Superman, every life holds inherent value, and the casual disregard for even a troubled soul is an unforgivable sin. What did you think of this pivotal moment for the Man of Steel? Was this a justifiable display of righteous anger? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the iconic moments of our favorite heroes.